A raise is either going to make you richer or it's just going to make your life a little bit more expensive. Honestly, most people don't even realize which one they're choosing. A raise is like a mushroom in Mario Kart during a race. You can use it on a straight road and go a little bit faster, or you can use it whenever there's a really tight turn and then there's a patch of road that you wouldn't have been able to drive on unless you had the mushroom. That can put you a lot further ahead in the race than you would have if you didn't have the mushroom. So today I'm going to show you exactly how to use your raise for a high impact repositioning like a mushroom on a corner. This will help you actually build wealth instead of just upgrading your lifestyle. When you get a raise, your brain immediately wants to upgrade your life. It's like you've been in this period of restriction and now you have a little bit more, so your brain naturally wants to give into the things that you've been holding back on. This includes things like moving into a more expensive, more luxury apartment, increasing convenience spending on things like takeout and food delivery, or spending on little treats more often because you can afford it now. I think so many of us overestimate our raise and think that it's going a lot further than it actually is. And I think this happens because we're not really being honest with ourselves about how much money is coming in and how much money is truly going out. And the real problem with us wanting to upgrade these kinds of things in our lives is that it's not really doing anything else for you besides just in the moment. They just make your life cost more. More money through a raise can change your life to have more freedom and opportunities, but you need a system to strategize that raise instead of just winging it. In my head, every dollar can go into 5 different kinds of buckets: spending, debt, investing, savings, and impact. Most of us really default to this spendings bucket. As a rich girl in training, I have to be more strategic about that. And because you're here and you're watching this video, I bet you are also somebody wanting to get wealthier this year. So you need to be more strategic than that. And if we were sitting down in the same room right now and you were asking me, Alexa, what do I do with my raise? I would tell you exactly what's in the rest of this video. Lifestyle creep isn't impulsive. It's creepy. It's sneaky. It's truly forgetting the impact of your yes. If you're saying yes to eating out more, saying yes to the more expensive grocery store, saying yes to another monthly subscription, and saying yes to convenience every time, your raise is gone and you didn't work on building your house of wealth. And honestly, all those things that I just listed saying yes to aren't really making your life better, and they're not giving you more freedom and opportunities, which is what being wealthy brings you. So out of those 5 buckets, this is the order that I would go in before upgrading your spending. Debt. You need to kill high interest debt, because if you have high interest debt, you are never going to be able to work on building your house, because there is no investment strategy that is going to outpace 20 to 30% interest on debt. And that's the number one reason why you're not going to become wealthy, is because you're carrying all this high interest debt. So you really need to lock that down. Every extra dollar you have, throw it at the debt. I would use your entire raise as an extra debt payment, because you're already making your life work with the money you have right now, I'm assuming. And in my last video, if you want more tips on how to pay off debt, I talked about the money rules that I use to aggressively pay off $24,000 of debt in 2 years. I still have a little bit left, but it's low interest debt. Next up is building your emergency fund. If you don't have at least 1 month of expenses saved, any unexpected expense could completely derail your budget for the next few months because you didn't have the money there ready for this event. You know, I don't like to be pessimistic, but I feel like life just happens and there are things out of your control happening all of the time, and it's just better to at least have 1 month of emergency savings there to help you in that crazy time, because it will come. I don't know in what way, but it will come. So without that 1 month in your back pocket, your financial life is pretty fragile. Your raise should really be going towards stability. And once you've dipped your toes into investing, which is step number 3, you can come back to step number 2, which is to beef up your emergency fund to maybe 3 to 6 months. Personally, I don't have over 3 months, but it really depends on what your comfort level is with the safety net and how volatile your income is. You might want to have 6 months of an emergency savings if you're only getting paid every 3 months. So it just depends on your comfort level. This is the first major step in building a house of wealth. And I keep saying a house of wealth because I think wealth truly is like a well-built home. Investing is the foundation. Without a strong foundation, you don't have a strong home. And debt is just this really annoying thing that keeps taking all your money and isn't even allowing you to lay the foundation down. But investing is where things start to change in your life. And you need to be investing in order to build true sustainable wealth if you're in a capitalist economy like the US. If you're somewhere else, I can't speak to that, but I think in the US, you really have to be investing if you truly want to be wealthy. Can you increase your 401k contribution? Do you have a Roth IRA? Have you maxed out your Roth IRA this year? If you've already done your other retirement accounts, can you start investing through your HSA if you have one of those, which is a health savings account? Can you open up a taxable brokerage account or invest more into your taxable brokerage account? This is the money that's going to compound and really give you the freedom and opportunities that you're looking for with becoming wealthy. So at this point, I feel like a lot of people pump the brakes. They don't really think about what comes next. They do a little bit of these things and then they spend the rest. If you keep going down the list, you'll be so much better off emotionally and financially. Once we've really got investing down, you should probably strengthen your savings goals. The pillars in your house are savings accounts. So we have the foundation, which is investing, and then the pillars, which are savings. And this keeps your house from crashing down. Different kinds of savings include sinking funds, deductibles and taxes, and midterm savings goals. I really wouldn't keep anything higher than a midterm savings goal in your high yield savings account. But sinking funds are a savings account with a very specific purpose and are meant to be completely used up. So this is like if you're going on a trip and it's going to cost you $3,000, you save $3,000 for that international trip. And then all of it will be used. So that was the sinking fund. The purpose was to use it to travel, and then you actually use it when you go travel. Savings for deductibles and taxes doesn't get talked about as much, but they come up. Like if you get into an accident that's your fault, all of us have to go to the doctor, right? These are things like your medical deductible that you'll probably end up having to pay for, and just taxes generally if you're not banking on getting a refund. I didn't get one last year and I probably won't get one this year, so I have to have money saved for taxes. Midterm savings are things that take a little bit longer to save for than 1 year, so things like a down payment for a car or a home. If you can do that in 1 year, impressive. I know some people do, but I see that as more of a midterm savings goal. Your raise can help you save for these goals faster so that whenever these events are coming up, you're not going into debt or derailing your entire budget in order to accommodate for the event. We're going to talk about impact. This isn't a popular thing to talk about. I don't hear a lot of people really emphasizing this part, but I think impact is what gives your house of wealth character and charm, in my opinion. What good is a house of wealth if no one's allowed to come inside or no one can see what's really happening there? I see impact as a way that your wealth can positively affect your community, your family, or the people that live in your city. So this is through things like tithing, a charity that you really resonate with, just blessing a random person in your circle. You could pay for someone's flight to come visit you. You could support an initiative in your community, like to build a playground, or you can help a child's fundraiser at a school, or you can invest in the school system. There's a lot of things that you can do in your community with your dollars that will have a positive impact on the people around you. And it doesn't have to be connected to religion, it can just be for your community. But a lot of people think more selfish spending is what's going to make their life better, but I really think that whenever you're increasing your impact, that feels a lot better than just buying a new purse. So lastly is upgrading your life, and that should truly be the most intentional part of all of this. Ask yourself, where do I feel restricted right now? If you're really a rock star, you're killing it, steps 1 through 5, you've got it all covered, you feel great. Where are you feeling like you're not living your best life? Because you need to be enjoying your life. If you're building a house of wealth and you're not enjoying the journey, there are ways that you can use your dollars to make that reality different. Maybe that means you're spending more money on fitness because you really need to be in a group setting in order to feel fulfilled. It's like maybe you hate going to the gym by yourself and you want to go to a boutique fitness class. That's totally fine if that's really what you're lacking in your life. Maybe it's the quality of your food. Maybe you haven't been buying the healthiest foods, or you haven't been buying organic and you really care about that, and so now you want to start buying organic food. Maybe that's on experiences. Maybe you don't get to spend that much money to go on dates or to take your friends out and you want to do more entertaining things. That's totally fine. Or let's say you're a busy person and you want to pay for somebody to come clean your house or to walk your dog for you. Those are things that you can spend your money on that will make your life actually feel better, but they're intentional and they're fixing a problem, they're fixing a pain point. After you've gone through steps 1 through 5, then you can use your raise to genuinely fix something in your life that's going to make an impact on you, and not just something that looks like an upgrade. Like you probably don't need a red light therapy mask. Like I'm just gonna say it. Don't buy another thing that sits in your closet and you don't use. What are you reaching for every day, and what's truly bringing you peace and relaxation? Spend more money in those areas. If you follow this order of operations with your next raise, I guarantee you that you will be richer than you were last year when you were getting a raise. Let me know in the comments before this video, what did you actually do with your last raise? What bucket did you put more money into? If you want more systems like this and tips for how to build wealth easier, subscribe to the channel. I love to talk about it, and I'm not going to tell you you to buy less coffees. I'm not going to tell you to like reuse your floss from the day before. I'm not here to be frugal. I'm here to be intentional so we can all be richer together. So thanks for watching. I hope you have a lovely day and I will see you next week.